Well, good morning. It's early in the morning. It's a little cool in the house, so I got my sweater on. Um, but I wanted to do something new for this YouTube, my Chaplain Chat YouTube. Uh, I want to share with you about a novel. Uh, in fact, I want to read you the first chapter of the novel. It's a short novel, and it's called Wilson's Wisdom. Wisdom. And there's the picture. In fact, if you Google Wilson Wisdom, look for this picture. I think there's some other pictures to show about. This might be the first one. And check it out a bit. Let me tell you a little bit about the book. First of all, the book was written by a good friend of mine named Bob. And Bob, I know you're going to be watching this, and your eyes are going to go roll back and say, "Isn't that guy ever get my last name right?" For 20 years, I still mess it up. I think it's Bob Sjogren. May have messed it up. Let me spell it to you. The author, the Bob Sjogren, is um, S Jogren. Yeah, Bob Sjogren. That's his name. Now, let me tell you first a little bit about Bob and Debbie. They really also they work as a great team, but they have a ministry called Unveiling Glory. I always think that's an interesting unveiling glory. For those of us who have a relationship with Jesus, shouldn't that be our whole ministry? We want to unveil his glory. We want his glory to be seen throughout the world, in our lives. Not only what we say, what we do, but who we are. I mean, that's pretty cool, I think. That's what we should be doing. Bob and Deb have this ministry called Unveiling Glory. You can Google that. If you just Google wisdom, Wilson's Wisdom, you'll see about the book. But they're on the Facebook page. You can Google the web page. Just put Unveiling Glory, Bob and his last name, and Deb. Fascinating. They do awesome ministry. They also write a lot of books. Oh, they're great speakers. I'd love to get them here to Visalia. Ooh, that'd be awesome. But they speak. They have mission projects. They do some great mission work overseas. Oh, read about them. You can get on his newsletter. He'll send you things. His email newsletter. It's quite fascinating. Okay, let me get back to the book. This is the first time Bob has ever written a novel, I think. He's written a lot of good books that help you look within yourself, your relationship with Jesus and others, and awesome Christian writer. But this is a novel, it's a story. And and it's very short. Look, you can see it's not a big book. And you know, and each chapter, it's a small chapter. I want to read you a chapter. It's only about 3 or 4 pages. Small book. Look at that. Small book. Um, and at the end of each chapter, Bob has a study. It's a group studied question. So you can read each chapter. And then if you're reading with a group, doing this with a group, let's say everybody's reading the book or you read a chapter, some great questions to get you thinking about the chapter. This is fantastic. Bob, um, I hope to, within 2 weeks, have my first study group. They're going to get the book, Wilson's Literature, Wisdom's, Wilson's Wisdom, if I get the name right. And we're going to read a chapter. We'll look at the discussion questions. They're great. Let me share briefly what the book's about, and then I want to read to you the first chapter. It's just fantastic. Good. Uh, you're going to meet at least two people at the beginning of this. You're going to meet Rachel. Rachel is a young 22-year-old gal, um, lives with her mom and dad, um, and she gets pregnant. And the guy that she gets pregnant, they're not married. In fact, Rachel's living at home, and her dad, who's the other guy you're going to meet in the book, is a pastor. This is a good church. He's a good pastor. Uh, they got a good Christian family. Rachel grew up in Sunday school, did all these, and everybody, oh, what a sweet, wonderful girl. And she gets pregnant. So you're going to see at the beginning, you're going to meet Rachel. In fact, the first chapter is called The Breakup. And, well, let's just get right into it. the first chapter, breakup chapter one. Rachel sat on the edge of her bed, her fingers trembling as they hovered over the screen of her phone. The pregnancy test laid in the trash can beneath her desk, two bold pink lines staring up at her, like a verdict delivered by a prosecuting attorney. She stared at the text, and for an hour before she found the courage to pick up the phone. Now the sun had dipped low behind the trees outside her window. Evening shadow crawled along her bedroom walls in the next room. Her mother hummed softly as she folded the laundry. Her father, Pastor Paul Hale, was probably finishing his sermon notes in his study, completely unaware his world was about to change forever. Rachel inhaled. Shakily, she pressed the numbers on the phone. It rang once, twice, then, "Hey, Rach," called Gabe, warm and familiar. "Hey, what's up?" She swallowed hard. Throat felt thick. "Hey, Gabe, can you talk?" "Yeah, sure. I'm just walking out of the gym. What's going on?" She hesitated. This wasn't how she imagined telling him. She rehearsed the words 100 different ways. None of them felt right now. I'm I'm pregnant," she said quietly, the words dropping like stones into silence. There was silence on the line. "What?" he finally said. "I'm pregnant, Kate." She repeated it this time, slower this time. "I took the test." Another silence. This one's colder. "Are you sure?" "Yes, I checked 3 times. I called the clinic. I have an appointment on Monday." She waited, expecting something, anything. But all she heard was the echo of his breathing. "Say something," she whispered. I, I don't know what to say." Rachel felt her stomach twist. "I'm scared. I'm sitting here alone. I just needed you. I thought you would." "This isn't what we agreed to," he interrupted sharply. "We were careful. You told me." "I I know what I told you," she snapped. "This time. But this time, it isn't math, Gabe. It's something life happens." A pause. "I'm not ready for this," he murmured. She bit her lip. "Neither am I, but I'm the one who's pregnant." "We'll get an abortion," Kate quickly said. "People do it all the time." I thought of that, but guess what? Roe versus Wade was overturned by the Supreme Court, and now it's up to the states, and our state doesn't allow for abortions. "Then go out of state," he retorted. There was a pause, long pause. "I'm going to keep the baby." That was the moment the air shifted. His voice came back colder than she had ever heard it before. "Are you serious? We're 22. I'm at school. You're a pastor's daughter. Do you know what this is going to look like?" Her heart cracked slowly. "I'm not asking you to marry me. I'm just asking you to be here, not to vanish." His laughter was bitter and humorless. Humorless. "You think I could just show up at your dad's church, sex to you like everything's fine? Like your dad won't look at me like I'm filth? Like your mom won't cry every time I walk into the room?" She blinked hard, forcing back the tears. You're the one who said you were a Christian. You'd stand by me no matter what." "I didn't mean this." The words hit her like ice water. "So what now?" she said, breaking. "You're going to walk away?" "I think it's better that I do." "No, it's easier if you do." He didn't answer. "I should have known. she said, her voice trembling. You do all the right things. When things got hard, you run. Don't ever talk to me about God again. Don't turn this into a morality issue, Rachel. We both made mistakes. Yes, she said firmly. We did. But now I'm the one who's going to carry it. All of it. A long pause. I'm sorry, he said, but was kind of sorry it came without weight, without meaning. I just can't do this. And the call ended. She stared at the screen for a long time, not because she expected him to call her back, because part of her couldn't believe it was all over. That quickly, that cruelty. That's, then silence in her room was deafening. Slowly, Rachel laid the phone on the nightstand, pulled up her knees to her chest, and she let herself cry. Bitter sobs. She buried her. She buried into the pillow so no one out of her room could hear. She cried for herself, for the child, for Caleb, who had said all the right things until it cost him something. I'll read that one more time. For Caleb, who said all the right things until it cost him something. Down the hallway, the sound of the father's voice drifted from his study as he practiced his sermon. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall receive mercy. She pressed her palm over her mouth as she could muffle the grief echoing inside her. Mercy. She wasn't sure she could even ask for it yet. But she knew this. She would not run. She would not vanish. She would not become bitter or small. She would carry this child with courage. And when the time came, she would tell her parents. She would face the shame. She'd walk through the fire if she had to. Because this life, this tiny, unexpected, terrifying life was growing inside her, deserved to be fought for, even if she had to do it alone. Huh. Now, interested in how her dad reacted to this? Well, I guess you'll just have to get the book. Is that a teaser? Wisdom. Wilson's Wisdom. Now at the end of this chapter, let me just read you the questions that Bob would have us discuss as a group. And I am going to start a group sometime on this. Maybe I'll do this book more than once. By the way, I find myself just marking it up left and right. Here's one of the questions he asked. Are there different responsibilities for a single man who gets a woman pregnant versus a married man who gets his wife pregnant? And if yes, what are they? Now I have a whole other response to this. If we're talking, you'll hear it. We're having a study together. Maybe it'll change too, by the way, as I interact with people on this. One of my view of Scripture sometimes changes. Not my doctrine, not what I believe uh, about Jesus, God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy, not the Trinity. But I'm going, whoa. Anyway, let me go on. Next question. What does Rachel's courage, how does Rachel's courage face her sin and consequences reflect God's call for us to walk in truth rather than hide the shame? Ooh, that would be a fun one. I've got some thoughts on that too. I can't wait to talk with Mike. Hear your thoughts, my thoughts. Number 3, what does Caleb's life reveal about the difference between saying we follow God and actually living out our faith when it costs us something? And 4, what do you think was in God's mind when Rachel chose to walk and bear the child? Last question. What might God want to grow and mature in us through the seasons of heartbreaks and loss? There's the book that Bob wrote, Wilson's Wisdom. And I want to encourage you to get it. By the way, if you do buy the book, let me know. Maybe we could do a study even on email or Zoom study. Well, God bless. And hey, I want to thank my sister in law, Linda, for getting me this book.